people, and well, first up, Happy New Year. It's been a while, hasn't it? And secondly, welcome back to the Adventures of Yarnia podcast. This is episode 4. Had a bit of a break since the last one, since Christmas happened, New Year happened, life kind of happened, illness happened, that wasn't so good. But today I am really pleased to be spending some time with you, having a chat about all things crochet, knitting, yarny, bit of planning thrown in there, because this is the Planners Who Hook podcast after all. My name's Rachel. I'm coming to you from the northwest of the UK in Lancashire, and I hope that if you haven't already, you'll go and grab a brew because you're probably going to want one. I'm on, what am I drinking this morning? Decaffeinated Earl Grey, which my dad says, what's the point? I say, it's nice. And yes, and I've got my mug cozy here, which is one that was in the little Box of Crochet about a year ago, I think. I think it might have been the February, January, February box. Hopefully that is picking up, and it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Attic 24 colours. Yeah, so grab a brew. We're going to have a chat about what I've made in the last few weeks, what I'm working on. We'll have a look at some stash enhancement because that has happened. And I also have a little section as well for about language and words, and also some planner related goodness. So, sip of tea time. That's better. Right, let me set that down over here. Okay, so I hope you're all really well and had a good Christmas. Mine was, it was nice because it was quiet, to be honest with you. It was comfy, and it's just been a relaxed time. And then coming back into January, the madness of work kicked back in, and it was just all a bit crazy again. So I have lots to show you. So let's crack on, shall we, with some finished projects. So I have, first of all, I'm going to pick up, I've got 2 pairs of socks. Now, I only have 1 pair of sock blockers, so I'm just going to show you 1 sock on the blocker and 1 not. My first ones are these, which are the Smart Casual colourway from Catherine at Crafternoon Treats. Absolutely gorgeous. And I was so pleased to get these finished, to be perfectly honest with you, because they'd been on my needles since November, I think it was. I did write it down. Let me just check in my little notebook how long I spent on these, because it was quite a while. They're just a plain sock, plain vanilla sock, done following the Winnick Mum pattern. Right, yes, here we go. So they were cast on bonfire night, and the first one was finished within 2 weeks. So I went great guns initially, and then the second one took me another 2 months. But I made lots of things in between, so I don't mind too much. They were 64 stitches cast on, and I did 2x2 rib. I'm still not happy with my rib at the top. I don't know what it is. I think the next ones that I do, or the next socks I'm working on, I'm going to try a 1x1 and just get over the fact that I have to keep changing between knit and purl all the time, which drives me batty at the best of times. So I'm going to give them a go and just see how it goes. So yeah, heel flap and gusset, and then decreased for the toe and Kitchener at the end. So there you go. And you know, I've just said all that, and I was just thinking, it was February last year that I first started a pair of socks. So in a year, I've learnt so much about knitting and socks, which is really exciting. Well, it is for me, because I don't know, I was thinking about last year, 2017, as we do at the end of a year. You sort of start thinking about the year that's just gone and the year that's to come. And I realised, and I just thought, you know what, 2017 was well and truly my most creative year in terms of the things that I made, the range of things that I've done. And I just really, really enjoyed it. And I'm just, my my goal, I suppose, for 2018 is just to learn even more, because there's a real joy about, first of all, just making something, and then the learning that goes along with it I've really, really loved. I mean, all the crochet stitches and everything that I've learned and done, I mean, admittedly, yeah, if you said to me, right, Rachel, you're going to use crab stitch and then this stitch and then that, I'd be like, just let me look that up. But I have done them, and, you know, knowing what a heel flap and gusset is. Didn't even know what the gusset was on a sock before. Now I know it's that bit. Go me. But yeah, it's just been, you know, really creative year, and I am looking forward to 2018 bringing more of the same, I hope. So yes, so those are my first socks. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. Absolutely gorgeous. It is, I believe, Polworth and nylon. And yeah, that was from Crafternoon Treats. Absolutely gorgeous. My second pair of socks I can't show you because they belong to my daughter. So I did make some socks for my eldest, and I'm halfway through a pair for my youngest. But to be honest, in the time that since I started them, because she wanted them because big sister had them, her feet have grown, and I think I'm gonna have to frog and start again. Anyway, my second pair. So these are the Hermione socks. Apparently every sock knitter has to have a pair of Hermione socks, and have made a pair of Hermione socks. And here we go, and you can see there the detail of the pattern, I hope, just standing out. Absolutely gorgeous. I love these. I'll be honest with you, I didn't love making them. Just show you the other one. Prove that there are two. See? There are two. Definitely two. Pattern's dead easy to follow. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Really easy to follow, and it's just, you know, it's just adding in purl stitches from time to time. I loved the yarn. The yarn is from Yarn Magpie, and it was one of her Christmas specials that she did. Now I actually have a lot left. Got all this that I've got left. And you can see there the little sort of speckly bits in it, and hopefully the sparkle is just picking up as well. There we go. So I've got quite a bit of it left. It's a merino nylon stellina. Can't think off the top of my head if it's a superwash. I don't think it is. There's definitely part of this sock that isn't. And it came with all sorts of little goodies and this gorgeous project bag. How beautiful is that? So just plain grey inside, little holder. Yeah, really lovely. Such a lovely thing to, I treated myself. So that was the yarn that I used. Now, I really wanted to do a pattern sock. I really, really wanted to do one, because I look at all these beautiful knitted patterns. I'm just like, oh, that looks so good. I want to make that. But I really hate flicking between knit and purl, even when it's only, what, 2 stitches in every 8, effectively. It just, yeah, it annoyed me. So at least I found something that, you know, I probably won't do again. But I have made them. These are my Christmas socks. I cast these on. These were Advent socks, I think. Yes. So they went on the 1st of December. And I had them done by the 11th. How about that? 64 stitches. I have partridge heel, so I learnt a new heel, and I learnt how to do contrast heels and toes and cuffs and things, and change yarn, and then work the ends in as you knit the next row. Amazing. The contrast yarn is actually from, it was a mini that I got with another one which I'll show you later, and it's this deep teal, and it's from Beehive Yarns. See if we can, there we go, just get some focus. Come on, camera. Okay, there we go. So it's this beautiful sort of deep tealy green. And the one that it goes with is like a mermaidy colour. You'll see it later. I'm all about mermaid things at the moment. If you've seen any of my new releases, I did the Precious collection, which is all mermaid and under the sea and oceans, and just, oh, gorgeousness. So yes. So yeah, so I did the contrast heel, toe and cuff. Eye of partridge heel. These have been worn a little bit, so the pattern probably isn't standing out as much. And that was a bit of a learning point for me, because the stitch definition that I had on the heel was just like, wow, I love this. And then I wore them, and of course they got a bit fuzzy, and that made me sad. So I don't know whether I will use, well, I don't know if I get any more beehive yarns. I don't know if I'll actually use the contrast for the heel. I might just do the toe and the cuff. So that's my kind of thinking there. So yeah, so those are my 2 pairs of socks plus the third, which I've not shown you, that are off the needles since I last spoke to you. I have one more that I have cast on, and I'll show you that in a little while. They are rather gorgeous, and I'm calling them my mermaid socks. So, a bit more tea. So in terms of other things that I've finished then, I finished a second Spicier Life blanket, which was a gift for my dad for Christmas. This was my first Spicier Life blanket. And hopefully, hopefully she says, because this is about something that you will have already seen if it's happened, but that I've not yet done. How's that for the, you know, bizarreness of YouTube? In the opening of this episode, you will have seen the pictures that I do have of that blanket, because it was done in the Attic 24 Moorland blanket colours, and I just really loved making it. Now, I didn't do every row or every part of the Spicier Life pattern, I'll be honest, because there were some when I made my first one and I just didn't like them. Didn't enjoy the stitch pattern. It was just a bit laborious, or I preferred another one. So that was the beauty of it though, and Sandra at Cherry Heart, who's written the pattern for that, has done such a great job in terms of making it very easy to substitute in the parts that you really, really like. So I just, in my notebook, I jotted down, let me find, yeah, so I just made a list of the sections that I wanted to include. You can see them here, hopefully. So I put down a list of the sections I wanted to include, and yeah, and I then did myself a row countdown, because this got a little bit close to the wire. I finished it on the 23rd of December. I was just like, I've got to get this done. So that was my dad's gift, and he absolutely loved it. So I was really pleased about that, because he's somebody who appreciates the effort and the work that goes into making something. He's done a lot of family history actually, and we have in our family, we have I have a cameo that was made you know, a few generations back, and there's a watch, and there's all sorts of things, and cross-stitch samplers, and there's some really beautifully crafted things. And there was part of me that's thinking, well, you know, I crochet, woohoo, it's not exactly, it's not the same level or standard as an amazing piece of jewellery, the brooch that I have, but it's something, and I knew that he'd enjoy that, so that was nice to make. The other things that I have finished, I have 2 pairs of fingerless mitts that I've made. These are the ones that I made for myself. I'm just going to put one on and show you this amazing, amazing yarn, because it is stunning. Okay, you remember I said I've got a mermaid thing going on? Look at this. How beautiful is that? This is a double knitting merino blend from, I think it is a blend, I'm going to check. It's from Rhapsody Yarns. Yeah, no, it's 100% superwash merino. 100 grams. I made, obviously, 2 mitts. I still have all of this left. But just look at the colours. It's so beautiful. And I just absolutely loved making these. So, put my other one on as well. They've barely been off my hands, to be honest. Every time I go out, I'm like, yeah, wearing these. Now, these were going to be the Hermione, can't say it, I just can't say it, Hermione. Oh my gosh, what was that about? The Hermione mittens pattern, which again is a free download on Ravelry. I know, I'd made the Hermione socks, didn't enjoy doing the whole pearl thing, and then decided to make the mitts as well. Except, as you'll see, I actually ignored the pattern bit completely and just did plain stockinette stitch. And the reason for that was twofold. One, as I started working with the yarn, I just thought, I just want to see the colours in this. I don't want a pattern. And the second reason was because I made these using magic loop. Well, it was fun. Never done it before. I needed to watch so many videos to see how it actually worked, to get the hang of this. It was just crazy. Didn't help I started with too short a cable, and I actually couldn't get the needles round. I was like, how does this work? I was getting really cross. And I did have to start again because the cast on, oh my word, it just drove me bonkers. I was just in such a kerfuffle and a tangle. I couldn't get the hang of going round, and then also because it's got ribbing at the cuff. It's that dreaded flicking between knit and purl again. And then, well, did my yarn still have to be on the outside if I'd just done a purl stitch? It completely threw me. But got there, did it, learned how to do increases because I've only ever done decreases on my socks. So yeah, for the thumb gusset, which I am rather proud of, that little detail. I thought that came out really neatly. And yeah, and I made them. So I was really proud of my little self. Anyway, so this was all my Christmas Eve cast on projects because I've finished all my Christmas knitting and crochet. Anyway, my dad sees them and says, oh, they're really nice. I have a pair of very chunky ones, but they're too chunky really for me to be able to use the computer when I'm wearing them in church, because he is one of the church guides at St Peter's in Heysham, which is a very old church, and so they open it to the public, and there's a team there who then go in, do a shift guiding people around, telling them about the history of the place and everything. And when my dad's there and it's quiet, he'll take his laptop down and work on his family tree or whatever he's doing. So I immediately had another project to do. So I made a pair for my dad as well in a grey double knitting. Now I did use 3.75mm needles to get them a slightly tighter gauge. And I'm really glad I did because they're really snuggly. And his are made, what did I use? I used Debbie Bliss Rialto double knitting, which again is a merino. And yeah, and he's pleased with them. He texted me, told me his hands are nice and warm now, so that's good. So those are all of my finished projects. See, we're not doing objects, we're doing projects because I don't like the word object. Which did actually get me thinking. And it made me think about words that I really don't like. And there's been a number of words that I really don't like for ages, but then there was a whole list a while ago on a holiday that I went on with some friends, a weekend away, and we ended up with a really long list of banned words. So I thought I would share with you a word that I hate and a word that I love. So the first word that I hate, and I'm going to have to say it, is actually another word for this. See, I really don't like it. Beverage. I hate the word beverage. It seems such a superfluous word.